Whoa.
That was exact.
Hello everybody, my name's Alexandra.
And I'm Angelica.
And welcome to another episode of Tacobout It Tuesday, where we talk about all things the arts and the people who love them.
And make them.
Oh yes, and make them.
Yeah. Like a beautiful taco, there are many components to the arts. And crafting it takes a lot of skill.
Oh, very true. For today's episode, we are very happy to have finally the best of our players. This is Improv has our own players who have come in, our friends who have helped us out, and even our family who has come in and done some sketch work and some improv work with us. So we have interviewed them all through Tacobout It Tuesday, and we really appreciate them helping us and supporting us through this journey. So before we get on to there, please remember to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends, family, and whatnot.
And make sure to check out our fabulous players as well. They really are what makes This Is Improv happen. So thank you everyone who, in the beginning of everything that went down in 2020, and moving forward into the future, thank you so much. And we're so excited to review the videos and review who you are with the world.
If you would like to watch their full interviews, because remember, this is just little parts of their interviews, the playlist is linked in the description down below. If you would like to take any improv classes with us, you can go on to www.thisisimprov.com and sign up today. Please, please, please make sure to, again, like and subscribe. And now, everybody, you beautiful creatures, on to our players. They're that way.
I felt like in my course, like in my courses, like in my major, there were, like, I felt like everybody was too tightly wound up, like very tightly wound up. And don't get me wrong, like, it's not that I can't get serious, but it's that, like, life is too short. We're literally on a spinning planet. Aliens are gonna find us one day. Like, it's not that serious. Like, it's gonna be okay. So I kind of thought this was a good way to make everything lighter, because everything is mockable. Like, if you quote Robin Williams, like, everything can be funny if you make fun of it in the right way, or if you point it out in the right light. So that's why I thought it was a good, interesting idea.
So much fun.
The performance. So the Easter performance. Before that, I was really nervous. I was for sure feeling like I was gonna flop, disappoint everyone, embarrass myself in front of 4-year-olds. But during the whole thing, I was like, oh wait, no, this is fun. Like, feeding off the energy of the audience, deciding, because like we had a beat sheet or whatever, but like deciding what parts of the show to stay in, like give more time to, and which things like move past. It was really fun.
Got to know Alex and saw this wonderful improv that she was always doing, and I was going to get involved. And luckily, we got a chance to work together. And before that, though, I really got into improv in high school. It was actually like, you know, your typical, if you're a theater person, you know, like you take a high school drama class, and one of the first exercises they make you do is improv. And it was actually one of the first times I'd ever performed, acted, anything like that on stage. And, you know, they usually do it because there's low stakes, there's no script, there's no nothing. It's just for you to get a feel of like how to be a character, do things like that. And first time I went up there, I pretended I think it was a hitchhiker game, and pretended I was like a taxi driver, and just feeling that kind of creativity that I'm creating this character, I'm making these lines like on the spot, and then seeing people laugh and react, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. Like, I can, you know, make people laugh and make people react to what I'm doing, and that was just amazing. And from that moment on, I loved acting, I loved performing, and I loved theater.
To always listen. I think that's the most important rule. Just to always listen to what everyone else is saying and not get in your head thinking about what you're gonna say.
It started for me in middle school, high school, when I started taking these after school drama classes, and I was really shy, awfully shy, like so shy that I would go to shows in the theater and I would really clam up and get nervous because I didn't want the actors to look at me in the audience. So going to drama class and going to those drama after school programs really helped because I was the actor and I got to play around with doing different things. And a lot of what we did in those drama classes were improv games. And I didn't know it at the time. I thought it was just acting exercises. But those games that we learned, we really used in improv today, which was really interesting. And it was really fun to use my imagination. It was the first time ever that I got to use my weird thoughts in an actual environment where people could see and they reacted. And because it wasn't in a conversation, it was something that I was showing them and I got to have fun with. It turned out well and I got to be weird in front of other people.
To myself at the time in 5th grade is when we started improvisation, because they're used as theater techniques all the time for training. Mm-hmm. And I would always have way more fun doing that than learning lines. Just playing, you know. So I think it was more obviously when I got to college, we were creating together, but not in a harsh way. I don't know if that makes sense. Normally when you work with a group of people, what I've experienced is that, you know, opinions can be tough or there's hard no's or things like that. But whenever we would play all these games, it just was a very accepting and non-judgmental environment. So I think that's what really turned me on to it, especially because I just, you know, I'm more of a techie. I'm more of a builder. So I'm not used to really working with people unless if they're yelling across the room in a friendly way, you know?
So techies have a special way of communicating with each other. It's harsh, but friendly.
It's very loving when you throw a 2x4 across the room. It's fine. But, you know, I think improvisation for me was just, it's more of an escape. You get to be another person for a while. Same thing with theater when we were doing scripted theater a lot. It was just, you know, you get to take on this whole new persona and it's like therapy because you're playing around, you're expressing yourself in your own ways and you're not being held back.
Well, when I was like younger, I always wanted to be in like films and stuff, but I obviously did not have the opportunity. I was like 10 and my parents were like, what? So then they were like, oh, well, you know, you like acting, so you want to try doing theater and stuff. And I was like, oh, yeah, whatever. And so I started auditioning for like musical theater and stuff like that. And after I was in like some plays, they were always like so much fun and I really loved them, especially musical theater. I love like dancing and singing, acting, all of it, and being a part of like the cast and everything. So, and then I did like performing arts, like I would do stuff at the performing arts company like in my area, and I met a lot of like really good friends who had like similar interests and stuff to me, and so that's kind of how I started doing theater.
I think that theater fundamentally speaks to who I am like at my core as a person. Just like the way the community of theater is with how cooperative it is and how collaborative it is and inclusive and diverse, and it's just like there are so many different kinds of people and you walk in a room and you have no idea, like everybody is so different, but everybody still has that like, I don't know, the same mentality of like they're going to be hardworking, they're going to be creative, they're going to have ideas. It's just like, it's such a cool group of people to work with. As far as how it's changed me as a person, I just, like, I literally do not know who I would be or what I would be doing right now if I wasn't doing theater. If my freshman year of college, I hadn't had a music teacher as like the teacher for one of my classes who was like, go to this meet and greet. And I went to the meet and greet and I like met Dan and I was like, hi. And he was like, we own you now. And I was like, oh, okay.
Click that you mentioned is really a great word. You know, it's those aha moments that people talk about, the light bulb that goes on. And it was with you and your sister, Angelica. So you both started theater. Angelica started it first. You started going to summer camp and that flowed. And then somehow I fell into being a costume person, I guess, you know, in the back, and it was so much fun. But in doing that, I learned so much about theater and acting. And then it was actually when you guys started improv that I had a client that was really struggling with just social skills. And in watching you all perform, you just have that moment that you go, this would probably help this person. And so I talked to Angelica at the time. You were in high school still. And Angelica put this whole kind of curriculum together. It was like 3 different games. And she took those games, and we met my client in a classroom, and she went through the exercises. And the more she did the exercises, the more I realized, oh my God, this is a godsend. And
when you guys started putting together your troupe, put in for an audition myself, and that's where you saw Bart Star for the first time. I really enjoy comedy. I really enjoy laughter. When I grew up, that's all I wanted to do was laugh. My home life was very strict. The motto was children are meant to be seen, not heard. So whenever I could get outside and have fun and laugh, and you're saying improv, and I called it improv, but when you use your imagination and you come up with some things that you think would be funny or are funny to you, it's very, very enjoyable to get a good smile or a laugh from somebody. And so I would do that. But I put that audition in when you guys are looking for troupe members, and I didn't think I'd get picked up, so I had to put in for less money. No, I'm just kidding.
You bet on how likely it was that we would include you in the troupe?
I wasn't sure I was going to be included, but I was extremely happy when I was. And I love having fun and, you know, doing the improv. When I was little, like I say, it was make-believe. So there was a lot in that.
Teaching is where I get to play, where I get to do improv stuff and have fun with my students, because every semester I have 50 new troupe members. I have, that's my class. And I'm always excited. They're brand new faces. They're excited to learn, some of them more than others, but being able to connect, as I said, you don't always get to pick your troupe, but being able to connect with different people from different walks of life, it's always very important to me to be able to do that, and I like that diversity aspect to it. It's very important, and I love improv for it. I love teaching for it.
But I was watching the newer version of Whose Line Is It Anyway? And I got like transported back to when I was maybe 8 to 10 years old, back when I really should not have been watching that show at all. But over the summer, we would spend time with my dad when he worked/lived in the Virgin Islands. And for some reason, all the things that we did together was watch Whose Line at midnight, which definitely would not fly with my mom. But, you're with your dad, so like things are chill when you're at dad's.
Ice cream is good for breakfast,
Who cares? It's dad. So, we watch a lot of Whose Line. And, as a kid, of course, I'm just like, oh my God, they're so talented with like all these songs. How do they do this? Not realizing that any of that was improv. Or, obviously with like years of practice, so it doesn't look like they're coming up with it on the spot, but I'm just like, oh my God, that is the coolest thing ever. They're so funny. So then, years go by and I become the quote unquote theater kid in high school and college, exploring all kinds of theater stuff. And then, like actually diving into improv, doing it on stage with my senior year, and doing that on stage and literally not feeling shy or weird about it at all. So I was like, okay, yeah, this is my thing now, apparently.